What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the Neighborhood Podcast. One of the hosts of the podcast. My name is Kyle Dabro. In this segment, we're going to go over the Thanksgiving night game that we saw between the Patriots and the Vikings. The Vikings did beat the Patriots by the score of 33-26. The Vikings stabilized themselves after that beatdown that they suffered just a couple days ago against the Dallas Cowboys, where they lost by 37 points in one of the worst losses that we've seen this year. But Kirk Cousins is able to shake off the primetime, I guess you want to call it, shambles that we see from him. And he actually had a relatively solid night in this win for the Vikings. So the Vikings bump up to a 9-2 record, and the Patriots fall back to a 6-5 record. To dive into the game, this was a fun game. This was a back and forth game where I thought both teams had ample opportunities to win this game. It's just that the Vikings ended up getting more of those opportunities and executing on those chances compared to the Patriots. I will start with the Vikings simply just because they won the game. Like I said, the Vikings definitely needed to bounce back in this game after the beatdown that they suffered against the Cowboys at home just a couple days ago. And this is a way to do that. And when it comes to Kirk Cousins, listen, there are a lot of jokes and there are a lot of things that can be said about Kirk Cousins when it comes to his performances in primetime games. Usually a lot of those are negative in fashion. I can't say that in this regard. I thought that Kirk Cousins had a solid game against the Patriots. Yeah, had one interception early in the game, but he was able to bounce back from that relatively quickly. And when the Vikings needed to extend a drive or they needed Kirk Cousins to make a play, he definitely did that. And he was able to connect with a wide ranging amount of targets last night. Obviously, his connection with Justin Jefferson was just phenomenal. It's been like that the entire season, and it showed up in this game once again. Justin Jefferson had 9 catches, almost had 140 yards receiving, had a touchdown as well, and was able to get some crucial catches for that Vikings offense, especially on some third down opportunities. They were able to cash in on those and extend those drives. And Justin Jefferson, once again, was able to step up to the task. And you can pretty much say at this point that he's one of, if not the best receiver in the game at this point, simply just from his production standpoint. Through the first 3 years, he's the number one player in NFL history when it comes to the amount of receiving yards that he's got at this point. And as long as he's able to stay healthy, he'll be able to improve that record as we get into the month of December and the first week of January. So he's just a phenomenal wide receiver, and he pretty much had his way against that Patriot secondary last night. And not only that, I thought that the Vikings, coming into this game, they were only on 3 or 4 days rest. And I thought that their defense would have been able to at least make some sort of an effort to have a better showing against the Patriots than they did against the Cowboys. That didn't happen. Unfortunately for them, their defensive issues are pretty significant because let's face it, when it comes to the Patriots and their offense this year, they've been very inconsistent. You don't really know what you're going to get from the Patriots offense simply just because look at the game that the Patriots just played on Sunday. This was only a couple days ago. The Patriots offense scored 3 points against the Jets. And it took a game-winning punt return by Marcus Jones to get them that win over the Jets. And then you go into this game, and the Patriots, like I said, 3 or 4 days rest, and they're able to move the ball up and down effectively. And this is pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, the most comfortable that Mac Jones had looked in any game this entire season. Mac Jones had a phenomenal game. I understand that it came in a losing effort, but the Patriots did not lose because of Mac Jones. The Patriots lost because of their defense, and they just couldn't hold up on the back end. But that Patriots offense was solid, and I thought Matt Jones was wheeling and dealing against that Vikings defense. And I understand that the Vikings defense, they have some issues and they have some injuries in their secondary. I know that Dantzler is on IR, and he's one of their better, if not better, he's probably their best corner at this point. So not having him in the fold definitely hurts. But I did not expect that Mac Jones would be able to move the ball that effectively against this Vikings defense. And like I said, that Vikings defense, they really need to get it together here because they've given up over 60 points in the last 2 games. And if that continues going into the playoffs, they're going to have to score at least 30 to 35 points. And knowing Kirk Cousins when it comes to playoff time, he typically can mess up from time to time, that defense really needs to round into form going into the month of December if they're going to have any sort of chance to make some sort of deep run in the NFC playoffs this year. But I think there's one element that I do have to touch on in this game, and it was obviously that Hunter Henry touchdown that was overturned by review. When I look at that play in particular, this is a very close call. And mind you, I am a Patriot fan, and I'm going to try to put my bias to the side here. It looked to me, it was a drop, but I mean by like the slimmest of margins. But you could make a very credible case that that was a touchdown simply just because his hand was underneath the football, and understandably, when his hand hit the ground, and that if you're the mindset that his hand was still underneath the ball, and that's what popped the ball out, and you saw that slight bit of loss of control, you could definitely make that case. But as far as I see it, I thought like the tip of the football hit the ground, and when you see any sort of loss of control, the the review booth is probably more than likely going to overturn the call. And unfortunately for the Patriots in this case, that's what happened against them. But I mean, it was a hell of a catch by Hunter Henry as far as just being able to just snag the ball out of the air. And it was on third down. It's just unfortunate that it didn't go their way. But, when it comes to the Patriots in particular here, the key aspects of their loss in this one was their special teams. The special teams won them the game against the Jets last week. And I think in this game, they ended up losing them this game. They gave up that kick return in the second half after they got the first touchdown of the second half to put them up 23-16, and then the Vikings were able to match it right away with that game-tying kickoff return in that third quarter. I really thought that was just a lack of execution on the Patriots special teams. And then Pierre Strong, I know that he's a rookie, and I'm not going to try to crucify this guy just simply because he is a rookie, but he made a really bad mistake by running into the punter on 4th and 3 in the fourth quarter. You simply just cannot have that. It is a mental mistake at the highest of orders, and I know that Bill Belichick was justifiably pissed off about that. And I mean, I saw some of the comments that were headed towards Pierre Strong's way on Twitter last night. They were not friendly in any way, shape, or form, and it's unfortunate. He should have known better, and if you don't have that penalty, the Vikings don't have what essentially was the game-winning drive for them in the fourth quarter. So that's something that the Patriots are going to have to look back and try to improve their mental mistakes on the special team side. And it's really it's not something that you typically see from the Patriots special teams, simply just because they have one of the best special teams units in the entire NFL, led by Matt Slater, who's been one of the best special teams players that we've seen in NFL history. So it is kind of rare to see that, but it did work against them in this one. But overall, just to kind of round out this game, like I said, the Vikings definitely needed to kind of get back into a groove after getting beat down by the Cowboys. And when it comes to the Patriots had been on a little bit of a winning streak coming into this game, and this was definitely a challenge for them. And I liked the fight that they had, but just costly penalties, mental mistakes on special teams, I think those were the main factors that cost them this game. They gave up 33 points. The last couple games, I mean, they had been locked down defensively. And in this one, they got absolutely torched by Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, and also Adam Thielen, too. I thought Adam Thielen had a hell of a game for the Vikings. So overall, it was a great game. Unfortunately for me, I am a Patriot fan, so I'll take the loss in stride. I'll just roll with the punches on that one. But it is what it is. We'll see how both teams move on into the month of November, simply just because this is where the Vikings could really make a case to possibly try to get a number one seed, just depending on how the Eagles fare for the last month of the year. And we'll see whether or not the Patriots can be able to bounce back and try to get into some sort of playoff hunt situation. But it's going to be difficult for them because the next game that they have on their slate is next Thursday against the Bills. So that's definitely going to be a challenge for them. But with that said, thank you guys for tuning in. We might focus on another game from Thanksgiving. If not, expect some segments tomorrow. We're going to focus on some of the Sunday games that we have for week 12. So we'll have a couple on the slate for you guys. And until then, we'll just have to see where it goes from here. But with that said, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys later.